Hi, Khadija.
Hi, Sapna.
Thank you so much for coming to this audience and talking to us, taking your time out of your busy schedule. I know how busy it is with your coaching and with your kids. And so people, I know Khadija through our Conscious Institute. She's my fellow conscious parenting coach, and it's such an honor to be talking to her. So
Thank you.
Khadija, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and a little bit about yourself. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Sapna, for inviting me. It's really an honor for me. So my background, I'm a mother of two, first and foremost. I am also a conscious parenting coach certified by Dr. Shafali, like you, and this is how we've had the pleasure of connecting. I'm also currently finishing a 2-year training with Jack Cornfield and Tara Brach to be a mindfulness and meditation teacher, because I really feel
Mm-hmm.
like meditation and mindfulness are the backbone of conscious parenting. So it felt very organic for me to, continue with that as well. I've been working with individuals and groups of parents
Mm-hmm.
for almost a decade now, and I have, recently also been doing some international workshops and groups, and it's just fabulous because I'm learning that no matter what background we come from, there's so much in common. And that's why I was excited when you asked me to have this interview to just share with you what I've learned through working with so many different people over the years.
Yeah, this is what I wanted. The message I wanted to get out there is no matter which background, what culture, what kind of habits you have, underneath it all, we all have the same needs.
Yeah.
So I wanted to give an insight into this. I was born and raised in India, and now I live in the United States. So I have a little bit of insight into that Indian culture, and I have friends here.
Mhm.
But tell us, where are you from?
So I'm from Morocco. I was born and raised in Casablanca. And I was really, really fortunate to be able to go to college abroad. I was in the United States first for my college years, and then I went to do my master's in Europe, and I've been able to do semesters abroad also in England and other places. So yeah, I guess I'm Moroccan, but I feel like a global citizen.
Yeah, that's so exotic for me. Morocco is so exotic, but then I wanted us to connect so people get to know no matter which part of the country, world you are, we all have the same needs. So to start off with this thing going on, with the virus going on, and everybody sheltered at home, what is that you're seeing commonly around kids? What are you seeing in the kids? In your home, maybe in your coaching sessions, maybe what's coming up for them?
So it's been interesting because it felt like it came in waves. The first wave for kids was some of them, not all, absorbing just the anxiety of their parents, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
parents, and not to blame anyone, but just to notice that, kids feel safe when their parents, are calm and regulated. And otherwise, if they see in their parents' eyes that there's something not feeling good or not feeling right, then that's what they absorb, and they might not express it, but they might regress, or all of a sudden I'll need to sleep with you again, and or
Mm-hmm.
maybe there's some bedwetting that happens all of a sudden out of the blue. So I've seen some of that. And then there's also the same kids or other kids who all of a sudden are so happy and express so much joy because now they get to spend so much more time with their parents, and they consider this no school time, even though for parents it's, oh, no, 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 they need to understand this is not a vacation and they need to work. And so I think for kids it's been, yes, just like for parents, a wide array of emotions going from excitement to fear.
Yeah, that's so true that you said. I have a 13-year-old boy, and I see that too. He's enjoying staying at home, but he's missing his friends, that connection, his own age group, his peers, and he gets bored. Um, Two things happen. One thing, that boredom, he's able to realize that he's bored and he's tapping into it. Then creativity is coming out because of what work I do. I'm able to tell him that. I'm able to tell him, okay, now you're feeling bored, and let's see how that comes out. And I don't try to go and interrupt that. But
Mhm.
he feels all these feelings. He's not doing like before. So he has this phase and everything is coming up. That's one thing I'm noticing because he's older. But younger kids, I think they can't articulate what's going on within them.
Right.
And I see a lot of acting out
Yeah.
because, as you said, they don't know how to say, I'm feeling this way.
Yeah.
And I'm noticing that globally, that they're acting out, maybe saying that I don't like you, or
Yeah.
just throwing words out there, or just don't know how to sit with their emotions. And I see that with parents as well. So
Mhm.
what do you think parents are experiencing, Khadija? What are you noticing?
Well, this what I've experienced and what I've noticed is this first wave of panic and anxiety from, all the uncertainty that is
Mm-hmm.
arising. And at the same time, again, like for some people, there was so much relief and enjoyment of just slowing down and not having
Mm.
to, go through traffic every morning and running and, all this. So it's again a mix of relief and grief also.
Yeah.
Grief of, all the plans that people had of traveling,
Mm.
of work, of projects, of just being together as a family, missing loved ones, things like that. So there's been really, again, a wide array. Um, yeah, I just spoke to a friend earlier who was saying how she found it just divine to be able to be exhausted from all the laundry and cooking and
Yeah.
homeschooling, and at the same time loving the slow motion of it all.
That's so true. That's so true. Initially, there was fear, right? There was fear that, oh my God, what's happening? This virus, people are falling sick. Will I fall sick? Will something happen to me or a loved one? Initially, there was a fear. Now I'm noticing the fatigue of staying at home for so long. People are
Mm.
getting tired. They're feeling sick. Do you notice any of that? Like just being stuck, like not
Yeah.
able to do anything.
Yeah, I'm so glad you pointed that out, because one thing that I have definitely noticed is the suffering of people because of we have been so conditioned to be productive.
Mm-hmm.
We've been addicted
Yeah.
to productivity.
Right.
So then at the end of the day, we're like, how come we're home all day and it's still, when I go to bed, it feels like I didn't really accomplish much. And
Yes.
so there's a guilt also that comes.
Right.
I haven't been present enough with my kids. I'm on the phone all the time. I haven't finished that thing. I didn't read that book. I didn't start yoga. I didn't,
Yeah.
meditate 45 minutes. So there's so much guilt for not even like succeeding in our lockdown period
Right.
or whatever. So
Yeah.
there is this resistance of just learning how to drop our agenda and just to
Mm.
be. We've been so wired for doing, and I've seen that this is one of the things people suffer with, is to just surrender from this need for doing and for the need of
Mm.
being productive.
Oh, that's so true. I'm seeing this across the board. It's so interesting to me, no matter which culture you are.
Yeah.
We are so conditioned to do, like as if our worth is connected to what we do
Yeah.
rather than who we are intrinsically.
Right. Right.
So what do you suggest we do, Khadija, when we are feeling this helplessness, when we're feeling all this? What are some tools we can use?
Well, I these are things that I do with the parents that I work with, and in my workshops. I'm just fascinated to see how, my work is based on teachings that have been, that are inspired by wisdom that is thousands of years old, and it's so relevant in today's time, to just remember to that we're worthy, without needing to do
Mm-hmm.
anything. And just so I invite parents to notice when do they say I love you to their children? When do they express, just contentment? Is it when the child comes with a beautiful drawing, or when they did their
Right.
homework, or when they went to bed? Don't we all love our children when they're sleeping? All of a sudden they're angels and we miss them. We wish we could hug them so hard. But then, when they're just being themselves, is that okay? So one of the things that I invite parents to do is to just, put a hand on your heart and just say, I'm good enough. I'm good
Mm.
enough. It's like a mantra that you can repeat to yourself. And it's a form of self-compassion to remember that,
Right.
first of all, nobody's perfect. Nobody's
Mm.
perfect. Second of all, that, this is based on the principles of self-compassion as studied by Kristen Neff, if people are interested in the topic. She says self-compassion is basically remembering that nobody's perfect, that we're all in this together, to remember the common humanity of this. As parents,
Mm.
we are all struggling and trying to figure this out. We have no manual of how to do this, and
That's true.
as we are struggling at home, sometimes we see, the photos of, the other moms who have done beautiful arts and crafts with their kids, and like, oh my God, I didn't do that. I hate arts and crafts, or, so just not feeling good enough because, oh, I didn't bake with my child or whatever. So just to know that there's probably, many, 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 many other moms just like you, your neighbors,
Mm.
other cities, other countries who are also struggling,
Right.
so remember that there is this common humanity, that, we are all in this together. And
Yeah.
third of all, it's just to be mindful,
Mm.
of your body. Sometimes we're thinking too much, it's all thoughts based on the future.
Mm.
So that's all
Right.
anxiety based. But I can't control the future. So just being mindful of what's going on now. As cliche as it may sound, the present moment is really where we can find freedom.
Right.
So for
So
me, yeah.
yeah, I that's interesting you say. It's so important to practice mindfulness, right? To bring it in your everyday life.
Yeah.
Just how long do you suggest people meditate, Khadija?
Well, I think 2 hours a day would be good. I'm just joking. You're like, who has time for that? Well, this is the thing, when I, tell parents, it's self-care is so important. Some moms are like, oh, what a joke. I'm breastfeeding and I have two other kids howling and
Yeah.
my husband's not even helping. So what are you talking about self-care? And so what I try to teach is that, self-care is not necessarily, going to the spa and getting a massage. It's not necessarily going in a retreat in Bali. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it would be so lovely if we can do that, but
Yeah.
self-care is also something that you can practice right here, right now. It can be just being aware of my breath. It can be just
Mm-hmm.
putting my hand on my heart. It can be just noticing the tension in my shoulders and releasing. It can be just whispering softly, I'm good enough, So it's just small practices like this that rewire our brain for us to remember that, it's okay as
You're
it is,
right.
and to
Yeah.
just learn to accept, because we're not suffering from the situation. We're suffering from our non-acceptance of the situation.
Oh, that's so powerful. People think meditation is this huge thing. They have to sit and stop their thoughts, and they get so overwhelmed, so they don't even try.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
what you said was in such simple, clear terms for anybody to understand. So
yeah.
can you give us like a little bit of intro into how we can all meditate right in the middle of the day, maybe?
Yeah. I mean, there's so many resources out there of how to be mindful of your breath, and
Yeah.
there's so many beautiful guided meditations. If you guys are interested, there's many, many resources. I could give you some, Sapna, that you could
Yeah.
share. But there's there's the practice that we can do as a formal practice every day for like 15, 20, 40 minutes. But there's also just this informal practice, which is being mindful of your present moment experience. And then we can also take just a few minutes a day to
Mm-hmm.
let ourselves, just to connect with ourselves on some level. So perhaps because we talked about guilt and how
Mm-hmm.
that's such a universal, I think, feeling that
Mm-hmm.
any parent can feel, regardless of where you're from. A
Right.
mother is a mother. Feeling not good enough is anywhere in the world. We can all relate to this feeling. So perhaps we can just do a little 5 minutes of a guided meditation, if you want, about,
Yeah. Perfect.
you
Yeah.
know, forgive ourselves for not being perfect during
Yeah.
COVID-19 times. Yeah.
That's so perfect. Yeah.
Okay, great. So maybe if you want, you can do this with me.
Yes.
So you can take some moments to just become still. and just relax. And just to observe any areas of tension, any obvious areas of tension, perhaps the shoulders. And just to really take a moment to land and to take a moment to become aware of your breath. Noticing the in-breath, the out-breath, not necessarily trying to control it or modify it, just noticing. When I breathe in, I know I'm breathing in. And when I breathe out, I know I'm breathing out. And then you can pause and see what comes up in your body. And then you can also observe what's coming up in your mind. Welcoming any thoughts. It's all okay. And you can see what stories of wrongdoing you've been telling yourself about guilt. Stories of letting others down, of performing poorly at work now with this whole homeschooling / work situation from home. Of not meeting your standards as a parent or a partner or a daughter or a friend or just a human being. And if something arises, simply acknowledge it and offer it forgiveness. You might even gently place your hand on your heart and whisper, "Forgiven, forgiven," or simply, "It's okay, it's okay." And recall your intention not to push yourself out from your own heart. Is there anything else that you're holding against yourself? Is there anything between you and your being at home with yourself? What's keeping me from being home? And you can offer yourself a prayer or a blessing, a wish for your own peace of heart and mind. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
So good, Khadija. Seriously. I was trying not to get teary-eyed in front of the camera. But I feel so good. Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. We all need this. We're always in the doing. This is how we go inwards.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you. This is really an invitation to go inwards, and I feel like perhaps we should answer the invitation that Mother Earth is giving us, which is not only to stay home in a form level, but also to come home, really, inside.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Khadija, for doing this with me. So grateful.
My pleasure. Thank you so much, Sapna, for your invitation.
Thank you.
See you soon. Bye.